So in this tutorial we're going to take a look at creating this concept here inside of Zbrush. We're going to poly paint it in Zbrush, and then we're going to unwrap it in Maya, and then we're going to rig it. So we're going to talk about going back and forth between Zbrush and Maya. Alright, so while in Zbrush, what I want you to do is, here's the very basic interface that right when it opens up. I usually click back once, and sometimes I change the color just so it's easier on my eyes. Then off to the divider here on the left hand side, I'm going to expand that, and I'm going to go to draw and just draw that over. So now that I have that here, what you'll notice is in the draw panel there's a floor and there's a front to back and up and down. We're going to go ahead and set up two image planes to model on. So go click on Simple Brush and go ahead and just click on Z-Sphere and left click and hold down and drag out a Z-Sphere. Now to edit this, I'm just going to hit T. Okay. Now what you notice is I already have a image loaded in the back here. So how did I get that image? Well, on the same website as this page, you'll notice this Leo image. Make sure to save that as a bump map or PSD. The way you turn that on and off is by turning on floor. And you'll see here that there's an X, Y, and a Z that can be turned on and off. These are your different floor planes. Your Z is your front view, your Y is the normal that's facing upward, and your X you can think of it as almost your right or your character's left view. You want to turn on X and Z. Now go to front and back, go to Z map, click on import, find your concept, it'll load it in there. Now if it's too dark, there's a couple options here. So fill mode, if you go down to 0, is absolutely no fill. 1 is light, and you can go up from there to 3. You'll notice that my Z-sphere becomes almost completely transparent. Now if I want to line up my Z-sphere with my character here, I can play with my horizontal offset here, and I can play with my vertical offset. Now if I want to make this a bit bigger, I usually can just scale up my image, and I try to make this Z-sphere centered to his torso. So something like this. And let's do this a little bit more. And what I might do is just move over my entire Z-sphere in a second. Let's do the same thing for my left to right. I'm going to go to Map 1, Import, and I import my concept here. Now when I go to my right view, I want these numbers to be about the same. So for horizontal offset, let's expand front to back. Let's round this off to a 0.25, because again we're going to edit this whole thing. So we have 1 and 0.25. So if I go to my left right view, I'm just going to go 1, and then I'm going to go 0.25. Okay, now for scale I have 2. For scale here, I'm just going to go all the way to 2. Alright, now it looks like my character's facing the wrong direction. I can easily just flip it, and I'm going to actually move my offset a little bit more so it's lined up a little bit better. So now I'm getting it almost, I'm getting my side view and my front view. Now let's move this over a little bit, but before I move that, I want to make sure that I hit X to turn on symmetry, and I just want to drag out 2 more Z-spheres off to the side here. And then I'm going to hit W. Now what W will allow me to do is select my move tool, and what I can do is by clicking at the top and holding down the left mouse button, I can kind of move these Z-spheres around. So I'm going to just kind of extend these out. I'm going to click on the center here, and that'll allow me to move my Z-sphere around a little bit more. Alright, it's kind of... Alright, I'm going to hit T again, and T again, and that brings me into draw mode. You can see I can continue to draw. let's kind of scale this just a little bit more. That way I can get them to fit in. So I went with 1.6 here. Let's do 1.7. 1.65. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to make sure that I do 1.65 for scale on my left to right too. Okay, and then I'm just going to play with that offset a little bit more. Alright, so what I'm doing here, let me bring this fill mode down a little bit, is I'm looking to create a very basic maquette, or very basic kind of skeletal system out of these Z-spheres. Okay, so I want to scale down the center Z-sphere, so I'm just going to hit E for scale, and I'm going to scale that down. I'm actually going to scale down, click on each one of these shoulders, and scale them down as well. If you notice, if I go up, they become smaller. If I go down, they become bigger. So I'm just scaling them down. Same thing, and feel free if your numbers are a little bit different to kind of play with this horizontal offset. Let's make sure we're in our front view. Kind of want to get that my scale and my, there we go. All right, and at the base here, I'm going to hit T and then T again, and I just want to draw a Z-sphere going down this way. I'm going to hit W to move. I'm going to move my Z-sphere down. Off to the side here, I'm going to hit T, T again for edit mode. Hit W, move this off. And so just continue to practice. Oops. W, pull this down for knees. And again, you can constantly keep playing with the shape here. And then if you hit A, you can kind of see the shape of the mesh that you're creating. And don't worry, we're going to pull all of this geo out. And if you hit A again, you can go back to Z-sphere mode. I'm going to go to my side view here. With move selected, I'm just going to pull this back. Line up those hips. Pull my knees forward a little bit. Again, just kind of center that. Let's go up to... Oops, the wrong one. I'm going to move that back. There we go. Let's bring our fill mode down. It's a little better. Hit T twice. Hit W, or if you're not comfortable using T and W, and you can just come up here and kind of click on scale. I prefer to use the hotkeys and to constantly switch views. Alright, let's move this down a little bit more. Alright, that's the neck. Top of the head, I'm going to hit A here. Don't worry about the fingers. I usually build the fingers out of rectangles and I dynamesh them in. So he's looking a little knock-kneed here. So again, I'm going to hit A. Just kind of keep these all lined up a little bit. Maybe bring these hips in. Alright, that's good for now. Alright, so what I'm going to do at this point, let's take a look at our side view. You know, I didn't cover rotation, which is kind of a problem. So if you hold Alt and you left click in here, you can kind of pan around. If you click, you can rotate this way. And if you zoom in by holding Alt. So maybe I'll make another video on just how to traverse ZBrush. So for now, if you hit A, you can go on and off your Z-spheres. Let's go up to File, Save As. I'm going to make a new folder on my desktop. You can do this wherever you like. Just called Leo_Z-spheres. And then in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to, this is for video 1, we're going to go ahead and begin to make him an actual mesh that we can start to sculpt.